orientation and qualification are largely different. I don't know what we are talking about, what you are talking about when you talk, when you say, are we testing that? Qualification. Now you and I know.
To be recognised all over Spain.
Now you and I know that that's the most dangerous thing to do, to design, because you actually decide on a person's future. And you decide. And you know yourself, and we know all, how we felt about being tested. This is a moment of stress. And this is a moment where performance depends on your momentary, how can I put, what's the right word? Your momentary mood, inspiration, power, health, whatever, right? There's plenty of things. And all those are not being tested, but they decide or have an impact on the result. And if that is for qualification, I remember my university tests. There's money was involved in that. If I failed, that would have meant longer studies and plenty of other things, housing, family, whatever. And all depended on that bloody 2 or 3 hours, right? And perhaps 1 week after that, my performance and grade would have been different, because I would have felt stronger or weaker. Anyway, a lot of things determine test results. And this is why I asked when you said, do we test that? Do we test it for qualification purposes, or do we test it for orientation purposes? That's the difference, right? Now, if you say the wider the level you're testing, then you say A2, oh, there is an advanced A2. This is once again the same size, probably, right? The wider it is. Now, do you expect your student to pass with tasks indicating advanced? Or do you say, the basic A2 is okay, fine, pass, right? Perhaps grade 6 out of 10, right?
Well,
And if
sorry,
you,
can I interrupt?
yeah,
The thing is that although they receive a mark out of 10, the final certificate is either pass or fail. And
okay,
the task they're required to do is, part of the task is a monologue, a 2-minute monologue about the topic.
yeah,
So the basic, the task that they have to do is already at A2 plus level.
okay.
And then they either pass or fail that. And then they receive a certificate. If they pass, they receive a certificate which says they're A2.
But if you have to in order to receive a certificate, say, telling me that I am A2, do I have to pass all in all skills?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Well, reading,
Is there some compensation, for instance, if I'm extremely good in speaking, but my grammar is somewhat lousy?
Well, that would depend on actually
Yeah.
what happens. It might depend on the teacher, you know, it's individual case. Maybe you should see that it shouldn't, but sometimes you see that if somebody's got a 5.8 in one skill and the rest compensate, well, it's that.
But sometimes
That
you
person
don't
can
know,
get it.
sometimes you don't, sorry to interrupt, but sometimes you don't know their marks. If you're working in a big school, you may not know what marks you have in the other skills, because you only test one skill. You might have to do oral examinations with students who you've never taught, you've got no idea how they've done on the other parts of the exam, and you have to give them either a pass or
And
a
who
fail.
adds those scores together in order to decide whether it is a pass or a fail?
You know that they have to pass independently on each part, they don't have it together.
I see.
And you may not know what they've done in the rest of the exam.
Good, I see.
If you're in a small school, you might be able to do that, but in a large school, you probably
I
won't be
see.
able to.
No, it's not much different from the problems we are facing in Austria, and not speaking about the Brits, right? They have got a totally different system. Anyway, so what I have tried to do here, and we can look at some of those phrases, and perhaps you on your notepad, you sort of scribble some of these expressions which I have put in bold, and because they are sort of, they describe the difference between A2 and B1. Give me an example. Let me give you an example. Listening comprehension. A2. Understand phrasal expressions related to areas of most immediate priority. I'm hungry. Right? Very basic. Family. Local geography. Local work. Provided that the speech is clearly and slowly articulated. We are talking about listening comprehension. Now, listening comprehension is a wide field. We won't look into great detail about it here, but very much depends on who speaks and how does that person speak. Or even if you know that you know the eyes of your student when you talk and keep talking, and all of a sudden, or gradually, these eyes are getting grey in a way. So they're drifting off, they're drifting away. So probably